Hey everyone, welcome to topic number 15, convert between decimals and fractions. So let's take a look how we're going to convert between decimal and fractions. So the first thing we want to do is convert decimals into a fraction. Now before I start, let's take a look at a couple concepts. It turns out fraction can always convert into a decimal number, but not every decimal number can convert back into a fraction. Okay, the reason that is because next two words. What is so-called a rational number? Okay, what is so-called a rational number is a number that can be expressed as a fraction. Okay, two conditions. Number one, you got to have a terminating decimal. For example, my 0.1 here, what's behind the one is actually zero. So basically, you can say the decimal places end at one. So that's what I mean. This is what I mean by terminating decimals, because your decimal places ends at somewhere. So those numbers is considered as a rational number, and that can be converted into a fraction. So a lot of time when we associate the word rational numbers, we think of fractions. Okay, it is a fancier way of saying a fraction, considered as a rational number. If you have an infinite repeating decimals, okay, then those decimal numbers can also convert into a fraction. For example, my 1 over 3 here, 1 over 3 is the same as 0.33333 repeating threes. Okay, any repeating decimals with a pattern, if you have a repeating pattern, then you can convert back into a fraction. Okay, now how do you take this repeating decimal and convert back into a fraction? You will have to use a calculator to do that. Okay, that's the reason why, eventually I will begin to introduce calculators. All right, 5. Okay, whole numbers can be expressed as a fraction. Anything can be expressed as a fraction is considered as a rational number, because we can write 5 as 5 over 1. So there you go. Whole number is considered as a rational number. An irrational number, simply referring to numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction. Why? Because the decimal places never ends, and another condition got to be in place. The decimal places has no repeating patterns whatsoever. Just like pi. Most of the time we think of a pi as 3.14, but pi is actually 3.1419526 dot dot dot. The decimal never ends. The decimal places never ends, and the decimal places have no repeating patterns. Okay, therefore, those type of numbers are considered as an irrational number. That means those numbers can never be converted back as a fraction. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, let's take a look. How do we take decimal numbers, convert to a fraction? Okay. I'm starting with a decimal. So basically, to do it by hand, you basically read the decimals the proper way. If you can read it the proper way, you can write it out as a fraction. And then we're going to reduce a fraction. So if you read 0.36 correctly, you will say this is 36 what? What is a 6 sitting on? What place value? Hundredth, right? So we will say 36 hundredth. There you go. So that's 36 over 100. And then we can actually reduce it. Okay, reduce our fraction by 4. That will give me 9 over 25. Okay, so what we're saying is 0.36 is the same as 9 over 25. This is equivalent. All right. So because 0.36 has a terminating decimal, okay, the decimal does end, then we can convert it into a fraction. Okay, so the way we convert decimal into a fraction is simply by reading it. Okay, but if the decimal places never ends, and the decimal places have no repeating pattern, then there's no way we can convert it. All right, let's read 2.75 correctly. If you read it correctly, you will say this is 2 and 75. 5 is sitting on what? 100th. There you go. 2 and 7,500. So I can reduce both 75 and 100 by 25. Oh, no, not by 25. 5. If I reduce it by 5, Okay, there's 1, there's 2, right? It is by 25. There's 15. So there's 15 over 20. And 15 over 20 can be reduced again by 5. So that's why we should get 2 and 3 over 4. Okay. 2 and 3 over 4 is the same as 2 and 7,500. 2.75. All right. So what happened if I start with a fraction? I want to convert into decimal. Well, the way we do it is simply divide the fractions. Okay. To convert fractions into decimal, we just divide. Okay. So let me show you how to do this by hand. So 5 over 16 is the same as 5 divided by 16. So that means the 16 is a divisor, goes outside. 5 is a dividend. All right. So 16 cannot go into 5, so that will be 0 times. So we're now going to start adding zeros. Okay. So 16 going to 50 now. About what? 3 times, right? Because that gave me 48. If I subtract, that's 2. All right, add another 0, bring it down. So now I'm at the hundredths position now. 16 going to 20 one time. So that will be 16. Subtract, that's a 4. All right, add another 0, bring it down. 16 going to 40 about 2 times, which is 32. All right, subtract, that's 8. If I keep going, okay, let's see when we're going to end. Because what's going to happen if it doesn't end, then that means there got to be a repeating pattern. Okay. All right. So this is about 5 times. Yeah, it does end right here. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry 3. 5 times 1 plus 3 is 8. There you go. So my answer is 0.3125. Okay. So this one does end. So how do I convert 0.3125 back to 5 over 16? Well, I will have to read this correctly and say this is 3,125. What? 5 is sitting on what place value? 10,000. All right, now I start reducing by 5, work my way down back to 5 over 16. All right, 2/3. There's no way that, I know 2/3 never ends, but I'm going to show you the repeating pattern. 2 divided by 3. All right, 3 is a divisor, 2 goes inside, right? 3 cannot go into 2. That will be 0 times. So let's start adding 0. Let's treat this as a 20. 3 going to 20. How many times? 6 times, right? 18. All right, subtract is a 2. Add another 0. So you see, I'm going through 20 again. 3 going to 20, 6 times, right? 18. Subtract is 2. Bring down another 0. That's another 20. So you see, my repeating patterns is already begin. Because I'm keep on getting 20. Well, my remainders keep on getting 2. So when I bring down the 0, I'm keep on getting 20. So I got to keep on using 6. There you go. So that will be 0.6 repeating. All right. So remember earlier I said 1/3 is 0.3 repeating, right? So 2/3 is the same as 1/3 times what? 2. So 1/3 is 0.3 times 2. That will be 0.6 repeating. There you go. All right. So this is how we convert between decimals and fractions. So let's look at some. Let's go over some of these homework problems. To convert fractions to decimals, what do we do? To convert fractions to decimals, what do? We simply what? Divide the fraction. That's what you're going to enter. All right. Convert the following decimal number into a fraction. So make sure you turn this into a fraction by reading it properly. And then make sure you reduce your fraction. Okay. Make sure you got to reduce your fraction to a lowest term. All right, this is 3 and 6/10. So make sure you read it correctly and reduce your fraction. All right, 3 over 8. Okay, do not round. Okay, just 3 divided by 8. You should do your long division, and then it will end. That's why I said do not round. The decimal place will end. So that will be all for topic number 15. Thank you for watching.